Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Riley Burruss thinks Gia Giudice takes after Teresa Giudice, as they are both outspoken. Bravo fans have watched Riley Burruss grow up on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where she appeared alongside her mother, Grammy-winning singer and RHOA star Kandi Burruss. Now, Riley is stepping into her own spotlight with NextGen NYC, Bravo's new reality show following a group of ambitious Gen Zers, some of whom are the children of iconic housewives, as they chase dreams in New York City. In an interview with NextGen, Riley Burruss, now 22 and a recent NYU graduate, opened up about her unexpected journey into the Bravo limelight. "I never thought I'd end up following in my mom's footsteps," she admitted. Riley is joined on NextGen NYC by three other Bravo offspring: Brooks Marks, son of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's Meredith Marks; Ariana Bierman, daughter of RHOA alum Kim Zolciak; and Gia Giudice, daughter of Real Housewives of New Jersey legend Teresa Giudice. When asked who she's grown closest to on the show, Riley said, "I was already close to Brooks before, so it was easy to continue that relationship. I hadn't seen Ariana in over 10 years, so that was a relationship that really evolved the most." As for who reminds her the most of their famous mom, Riley pointed to Gia Giudice. "I say probably Gia is most like her mom," she said. "I don't really know her mom that well, but I just feel like from what I've seen, I feel they're both very outspoken." With a mix of old friendships and new dynamics, NextGen NYC promises an inside look at what happens when Bravo kids grow up and grow into their own stories. Reality TV royalty is never short on big personalities, and when it comes to outspoken women in the world of Bravo, Teresa Giudice of The Real Housewives of New Jersey and her daughter Gia are in a league of their own. Recently, Riley Burruss, the daughter of Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss, weighed in on Gia Giudice's presence on the Bravo stage, noting that she believes Gia is following in her mom's famously bold footsteps. "Gia's definitely her mother's daughter," Riley said during a light-hearted interview. "She says what she thinks, just like Teresa. You know exactly where you stand with both of them, and that's something I actually respect." Riley, who has also grown up in the public eye thanks to her mother's long-standing Bravo presence, knows a thing or two about being part of a reality TV dynasty. Now in her early 20s, Riley has blossomed into her own person, attending college, pursuing her own path, and choosing to step in and out of the spotlight on her own terms. She and Gia, who are close in age, have occasionally crossed paths at Bravo-related events, and Riley has taken notice of how Gia carries herself, particularly when it comes to speaking her mind. "Gia doesn't just speak up for herself, she speaks up for her family, especially when things get messy on the show," Riley observed. "That's Teresa 101. Teresa has always stood her ground, no matter the backlash, and Gia has definitely inherited that. From a young age, Gia Giudice has been a part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey story. Viewers first saw her as a young girl dancing and singing at family events, occasionally caught in the crossfire of her family's drama. But over the years, she has matured into a confident young woman who's unafraid to voice her opinion, particularly when it comes to defending her family's name. Whether it was speaking up during the Giudice-Gorga family feuds or going head-to-head with castmates who questioned her family's intentions, Gia has never played the role of a shrinking violet, and it's that kind of spirit that Riley admires. "I think people underestimate kids of housewives sometimes," Riley said. "They think we're just in the background, not paying attention, but we see everything, and growing up in that kind of spotlight either makes you crumble or makes you strong. Gia chose strong." Riley's comparison between Gia and Teresa is especially poignant because she, too, knows what it's like to be compared to a powerful and outspoken mom. Kandi Burruss has never shied away from confrontation, whether in the boardroom, on stage, or during the many fiery moments that have come to define RHOA. Riley, by contrast, has typically kept a lower profile, but she appreciates Gia's comfort with the camera and willingness to step up. Isn't afraid to speak her mind, and when it comes to weighing in on fellow Bravo kids, she has thoughts and receipts. The daughter of the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss has grown up in the public eye, balancing her quiet confidence with the poise of someone who's seen reality TV from behind the velvet rope. So when asked in a recent interview which Bravo legacy kid reminds her most of their famous parent, Riley didn't hesitate. Gia Giudice, she said. She's totally Teresa's daughter, strong, opinionated, and never backing down. It's not a stretch. In fact, for longtime Real Housewives of New Jersey viewers, watching Gia Giudice evolve has been like watching Teresa Giudice's fire flicker in a new form. The same tenacity, the same "don't mess with my family" energy. The same boldness that made Teresa flip a table over dinner and walk away like it was a yoga pose. And Riley would know something about legacy. While she's not in front of the cameras as much as she once was, she's lived through the whirlwind of Bravo drama and managed to emerge with dignity, empathy, and a clear voice. Gia, in her own right, is doing the same thing. Gia has that fierce loyalty, like Teresa. Riley said. She'll defend her family no matter what, and that's something I really admire. It's not fake, it's not performative, that's just who she is. Think back to when Gia was just a little girl writing sad songs about her family's struggles. Now fast forward to recent seasons, where she's confidently calling out adults, demanding accountability, and refusing to let the Giudice name be tarnished without a fight. It's very Teresa, but with a Gen Z polish. Like her mother, Gia speaks with conviction, even when it ruffles feathers. Whether confronting Joe Gorga about his treatment of her father or pushing back on castmates who underestimate her voice, Gia does it with a kind of calm power. She's not here to be the kid in the corner anymore. She's a grown woman with opinions, and she's not afraid to air them. Riley, who's taken a more low-key approach to her public persona, says that while she and Gia are different in personality, there's a shared understanding that comes from being born into Housewives royalty. People assume we're like our moms in every way, but we're our own people too, Riley said. Still, when I see Gia standing up for herself or clapping back at internet trolls, I'm like, yeah, that's pure Teresa. And I respect it. Teresa's influence on Gia is undeniable. From the signature Jersey swagger to the unfiltered honesty, the apple didn't fall far from the table-flipping tree. But Gia's also carving her own path, graduating from Rutgers, exploring law school, and stepping into advocacy. She's transforming the family narrative, not just continuing it. She's got that Teresa fire, Riley said, but she's using it in her own way. It's not about drama anymore, it's about purpose. That's what makes it cool. And Riley isn't alone in thinking this. Fans on social media have long drawn parallels between Teresa and Gia, often dubbing the younger Giudice the next generation queen of New Jersey. Even Andy Cohen has noted Gia's presence and power, hinting that if there's ever a Real Housewives, NextGen, Gia would be a natural fit. But it's not just about being outspoken for the sake of it. Both Teresa and Gia have a moral compass that's rooted in loyalty, resilience, and family-first values, even if it means throwing verbal punches to protect them. And while Teresa's path has been paved with headline-grabbing moments, Gia seems determined to channel that same force into something enduring and impactful. Gia's the kind of girl who knows her worth, Riley said. She doesn't need anyone's approval. She's gonna speak her truth, and if that makes people uncomfortable, oh well. In a world where celebrity kids are often dismissed as spoiled or ungrateful, Riley and Gia both defy the stereotype. They've watched their mothers endure everything from lawsuits to betrayals to internet backlash, and they've both emerged with strength and style. Maybe it's no surprise that Riley sees a kindred spirit in Gia. Different coasts, different cities, different Housewives franchises, but the same DNA of determination. I think people underestimate how hard it is to be in this world and still have a voice, Riley reflected. Gia has one, and she uses it. That's Teresa's legacy in that way, Riley said. I've always been more reserved, more behind the scenes, but I admire how Gia handles herself, especially when adults are coming for her or her family. That takes guts. The Bravo world is often one of glitz, glam, and gossip, but beneath the surface lies the real impact it has on the kids of its stars. Growing up with cameras in their faces, overhearing fights between family members and friends, and being talked about by millions of viewers, it's not exactly a typical childhood. Despite that, Riley sees Gia as a young woman who has turned that intense spotlight into a source of strength. She's learned from the best. Teresa doesn't hold back, and neither does Gia, Riley said with a laugh. You could almost put Gia on the reunion couch at this point. She holds her own. In fact, fans have often speculated whether Gia might one day join RHONJ as a full-time housewife. She's already made such a strong impression, it's easy to imagine her stepping into her mother's stilettos. I could totally see Gia on the show in a more official way in the future, Riley mused. She already has the legacy, the personality, the loyalty, and most importantly, the voice. Teresa has always been a fighter, and I think Gia will carry that torch in her own way. As more and more children of Bravo stars come of age, it's clear that some are following in their parents' footsteps, while others forge their own paths. Riley, who's focused on school and career goals outside of reality TV, sees Gia's choice to stay involved in the world of RHONJ as a testament to her boldness. You have to be ready to take hits and still stand up tall. Gia does that. That's Teresa's legacy, and Gia's living it. While Riley might not be looking for her own peach anytime soon, her commentary on Bravo's new generation reveals a unique insight. One that only someone who's grown up in front of the cameras could offer. And when it comes to outspoken daughters of housewives, Riley knows Gia has earned her place. Being outspoken isn't about being loud, Riley concluded. It's about standing up for what you believe in, no matter who's watching, and Gia, she's got that down, just like Teresa. Whether Gia eventually takes center stage as a housewife or simply continues to be a strong voice in her family's corner, one thing is certain, she's already made her mark. And with women like Riley Burruss acknowledging her strength and candor, it's clear that the next generation of Bravo daughters is not just watching, they're shaping the narrative. And who knows? Maybe one day, Gia and Riley will find themselves on a Bravo panel together, trading stories, offering wisdom, and reminding everyone that being outspoken isn't just about making noise, it's about making an impact.